last year that came out that I saw in the theaters. Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the fourth movie in this franchise. Well, not counting the remake. I'm watching it on Netflix, so here we go. It's about an hour and 50 some minutes. The Ghost Core, yeah, there's a Ghost Core logo. Some say the world will end in fire, some say will end in ice. When I've tasted of desire, hold it with their soul favor fire. To perish twice, I think I have enough of hate to say that for destruction, ice is always great and would suffice. Robert Frost. It starts with a flashback. And I didn't hate this movie. I know a lot of people did because they really liked Afterlife, but I thought this was a decent, follow up. It's not terrible. I've seen worse. At least it's different. It's not. It's not doing shot scenes from Ghostbusters 2. 1904. It's just it was too different for some people. At least in this one, the Ghostbusters are not cameo. They're not cameos at the end. Most of them are in the film. And I do like some of the new characters, like McKenna Grace's character, Phoebe, and Finn Wolfhard's character as well. And Carrie Coon, I like her as well. I like the sequel trilogy. I like the characters in this movie. Yeah, it's like Elsa's room. Also, this, yeah, it had a different creature, ice. That's something we've never seen in Ghostbusters, so I at least give them credit for that. We've never seen ice. We've seen, the Devil Dogs, and we saw Gozer, and we saw the State Park Marshmallow Man, and we saw, uh, you know, Vigo in the second movie, but we've never seen an ice creature before, so that's something different. People just wanted this to be like the first one. I'm like, it can't, guys, because these actors are old now. Harold Ramis is dead. Ivan Reitman just died when this came out, so they did it in a post humanist tribute to him at the end. It doesn't make me cry as much as the Afterlife, but that's only because Egon's not in this one. They show a picture of him, but that's about it. I would say watch this at least once. Anything is better than the remake. I will take this and Afterlife any day over the remake. The remake is still the worst because you disrespect the fans and you're a sexist movie that wants a female superiority complex. Yeah, I'll take this any day over that one. Even the second movie, which I love. Yep, they turn to ice. They shatter into glass. This is the MacGuffin of the movie. This round ball that Gianni said. Hey, John, thoughts on Deep Blue Sea? I like the first one. I haven't seen the second one. The third one is a decent guilty pleasure. There's the creature. Ghostbusters. Frozen Empire. I know a lot of people hated this one. I don't get it. There's a fan and a ghost appears in the first 5 minutes. We don't have to wait an hour for this one. They just won't accept it because it's new characters doing the same thing. Well, times have changed, guys. Nostalgia's not always going to win. And I like Paul Rudd as well. And while they're not the original cast, they at least try. This isn't like Star Wars where with the sequel trilogy, all they did was do the same movies with lesser characters and less actors. Finn Wolfhard can act. I've seen Stranger Things. McKenna Grace can act. She's not even a nerdy brunette. She's actually a blonde. And she's gorgeous now. She's not a little girl anymore. She's a woman. I have no guilty. I have no guilt. Josh was like, but she's only 19. I don't care. She's not a kid anymore. So I can lick my lips. Look, watch me. Regretting You, I haven't seen. Had Ben Foster, the Australian martial artist, the one that uses a gun that looks like a Nerf gun in a way, yeah. At least Finn Wolfhard's coming back. And what's up, Racing Elliot? Let me put this up a little bit. It's a good movie. It's a fun movie. It's not great. It's never going to be the first two, but there's the ice dragon again. Something different. It's not Vigo. It's not the Devil Dogs again. It's something different. People just hate that the original cast had to be shoehorned in. Well, if you didn't put them in there, this movie would have lost like $100 million. You know, when we have a new Avengers movie, it won't be the same because you're gonna have a completely cast and people that did not connect at all, like the freaking Thunderbolts and the new Fantastic Four. They did not get over. Yeah, been a while since I've been on the chat. I think last time was on Death Race 3. That I hadn't done that. You know, you mean Death Race 2050? That one? Yeah. And the effects look great for 2024. It could have looked a lot worse, guys. I will take this over Tarot any day, or Madam Web, which is absolute garbage. Some people just have to realize that some movies are going to be just passable, and that's good enough for me. I will take passable over god awful any day. Yeah, maybe I'm biased because I'm a New Yorker. The third movie, Afterlife, was not in New York until the end of the movie. I'm biased. I am. I'm sure it was the three with Danny Trejo. I think. Uh, I don't think he was in that one. Death Race. He was in Death Race 2 or Death Race 2008. It's a cool looking effect. A drone, a ghost trap drone. That's pretty cool. It was two. Yeah, I think it was two, but that was months ago. That was back in like spring or summer. I had to do another movie on Netflix because the last movie I did on Netflix was Beverly Hills Cop Axel F. One of the direct-to-video sequels. Yes, I know, Salvatore. You don't have to explain. I'm not. People think that I'm slow. I'm not. I have ADHD. I'm not autistic. I'm not. I don't have Asperger's. I'm completely functional in the men brain. Yeah, I have a photographic memory of everything that I see, usually, or experience. McKenna has such a bright future ahead of her. She started acting as a little girl. Now she's a woman. Good. That means I can lick my lips, right? Yeah. There's the Brooklyn Bridge. I remember that area. Because I'd rather have actors that want to be here, unlike Bill Murray, where he feels like he's trapped in this movie. Like he's like, I'm just gonna be in two scenes and I'm gonna just throw pens coming on Johnny. There's New York City with the Freedom Tower. Goes. That's the original film. That's the second movie. Yeah, they did acknowledge him. Rest in peace, Harold Ramis. I miss you so much, man. There's Ernie Hudson. He was at Comic Con this year, but I missed him because he went Saturday and Sunday. Him and Annie Potts. I remember that cereal. And there's William Atherton from the first movie. Aaron Eckhart's latest movie. No, I met Thomas Jane at Comic Con. Phoebe's like a mix of Lisa Loud and she's 19 now. No, William Matheson could still play this role really well. We hadn't seen him since the first movie. He wasn't even in the remake because he was like he had I have too much self respect to do that. And at least Rick Moranis said no because he didn't want to play the same character he played 30 years ago. And I get it, but he is doing Honey I Shrunk the Kids again, Shrunk on Disney Plus next year. Nostalgia is always going to be around, guys. Sorry. What do you think Wicked is? It's a prequel to Wizard of Oz. Has transitioned to an action star unexpectedly. He kind of went into Liam Neeson. Yeah, I haven't seen him in the movie since I Frankenstein. Because he was in The Dark Knight, and then he kind of fizzled out. Yep, there's the ghost house, the firehouse from the first one. Because they were in a farm in the third movie, and people thought it didn't feel like Ghostbusters. My mom didn't even laugh. I'm like, because it's not a comedy. The last movie was not a comedy. Afterlife was more like a sci-fi thriller than a comedy. Yeah, her and Kiernan Shipka, I see a lot of potential in them. They are franchise players. Josh is like, no, they're not because they're too young. I'm like, when are they going to be franchise players? When they're 40? Cannibal Girls. Yeah, that was a Slimer. Because people like nostalgia is ruining everything. I'm like, no, it's not. Because Mario, the whole movie was nostalgia. But I love that franchise. It's my everything, guys. I told everybody when I saw that movie back in 2023, Mario is my everything when it comes to gaming. He got me into gaming, not Donkey Kong, but Mario. I guess he wants to do physical roles now. I'm curious of checking them out. There's one called Bricklayer. You haven't seen that one. You saw there's ice there, foreshadowing. And Carrie Coon's a good actress. Like I first saw her not in Gilded Age. I saw her in Infinity War. I didn't know who it was. I'm like, she has a really hot voice. Proxima, the one with the horns. It's like Thanos will get the stones. Yeah, she's so good, man. And Marvel didn't waste her. They gave her an epic battle against Wanda and the rest of them. So Josh's like, Wanda's dead. I hate myself. Why? Because she could come back. House of M exists, Josh, and she could get resurrected like any other character in Marvel. Death is not permanent when it comes to the MCU unless the actor dies. That's why Boseman was not recast. Okay, back to Ghostbusters. I don't want to talk about Marvel. They had a horrible year. There's the containment field, yeah, from the first one. The containment unit. Because really, my mom watched these movies because it has the original cast. If it didn't, she wouldn't even bat an eye. Because when we saw the Librarian TV show from 2014, it's like, where's Finn? Where's Flynn? He's not a main character in that. It was a bunch of new characters. Yeah, the Asian kid has nothing to do in this movie. Like him and there's Dan Aykroyd. Yeah, him and the black girl have nothing to do. Celeste O'Connor from the last movie. Yeah, they don't do anything in this movie. They're just kind of there. Ernie Hudson has been in a lot of direct-to-video films. Yeah, I know. Yeah, like and subscribe my videos, guys. I would appreciate that. This is like the lines at Comic Con. Dan Aykroyd was not there. It was Ernie Hudson and Annie Potts only, and Sigourney Weaver. But her line was 4 hours. I'm not going to do that. Ernie Hudson was also in The Crow and Mr. Magoo. But yeah, yep, the PKE meter. Best of Us 4, Shark Attack, Hijack, Stealth. Yeah, I saw some of this. Interceptor Force. Yeah, I haven't seen the first one. I saw the second one. I don't know why the Asian kid has Edward Cullen's hair, but whatever. What do I know? Also, the ghost played by what was it? Is it Emily Allen Lind? I think so. I think that she's it's Emily Allen Lind. There's the Marshmallow Man, the mini marshmallows. Speaking of Ivan Reitman, have you seen 6 Days and 7 Nights? Yeah, I saw it a long time ago. I saw it when I was a teenager. Why did you do that? Yeah, they wanted minions, so they got Little Marshmallow Man. There he is. This is a character that could have been cut from the movie, only because they make him a firebender like Avatar. Yeah, I like him in on Gianni. It's just here he feels like an add-on. I mean, they give him something to do at the end, unlike in Eternals where he got beefed up and did a dance and then there's nothing in the third act. Yeah, they got to stop wasting this actor. Sony already wasted him in Men in Black International. Because they only put him in here for a diversity hire. There's not enough people of color in this movie. You know, you have a black man and an Asian boy, but they have to bring and another black girl. So I'm surprised they didn't get a Hispanic and a Middle Eastern person. He's Pakistani. You know your stuff. Yeah, I like his voice. He could be funny. Migration was decent. This movie does have too many characters in it, though. You should have had the old cast and the new cast. That's it. You didn't need to add more because that's what Sony does. Sony and Paramount, they think that adding more characters makes things better. No, if there's too many characters, I'm going to say there's too many characters. That's what I hate about Mission Impossible. This movie at least is better than that one. It's not. It's better than Final Reckoning because it's not 2.5 hours or 2 hours and 42 minutes. It didn't need to be that long. That movie could have been an hour and 45 minutes and been much better. Ivan Reitman directed Arnold's best comedies, Twins and Kindergarten Cop. Yeah, I know. He produced this movie before he died. That's a cool shot. No pun intended. This is what would have happened if Elsa was a villain in Frozen. Again, I don't care about the Q&A thing. We're 20 minutes in. Yeah, there's some funny moments in it. That's more than I could say for the remake, where every joke is just lifted from the first movie, or it's just not funny. It's never seen. I've never seen Junior. I did. It's terrible. There's Annie Potts. Yeah. Also, rest in peace to June Lockhart from the original Lost in Space. 100 years old. She made it to a century. I miss you so much, but she's not in this movie, so Annie Potts, we still have her. I hope I can meet her next year, cause but she has to go a day that I want to go. That's why I have to get a 4 day pass for Comic Con so I could make sure I meet everybody I want to meet. Hmm. Yeah, Phil Wolfhard didn't do much here because he was doing Stranger Things last season, so of course he wasn't available to do the whole movie. Because this movie is not The Last Jedi. That movie disrespects characters by killing off characters that we liked, like Leia and Luke. That was disrespectful. This was not that. How dare they compare these movies to the sequel trilogy? It's not the sequel trilogy. This continues the story. It doesn't do beat for beat the first movie until the last 30 minutes, but at least it's a beloved tribute. So Arnold went from classics to that's a low point to his career concerning his True Lies. With True Lies is the last good movie that James Cameron made. I haven't seen Titanic, but I heard, it was a film, but I hate Avatar. It's so boring, and I'm like, James Cameron went from directing real people to CGI blue cats that don't mean anything to me. Yep, Slimer's is feasting on those product placements. Sony did a lot worse with Madam Web and Craven the Hunter than this. I'll take this any day because it's actually entertaining. It is. It's not perfect. I said, like, there's too many characters. There's the little green snot bubble. The effects look fine. At least they don't have Muncher from the last movie. They pretty much got rid of him. Hold on. I'm going to check who. I'm just checking who the girl is. The Book of Eli, no, it's too pretentious. I can't. I don't like pretentious movies that think that their crap does it. Yeah, Emily Allen Rillin, she's the Melody, the ghost. They said, oh, she's a lesbian. No, she's not. They're just friends, guys. There's no kiss at the end. There's no hint of that. How dare you? Just because Phoebe wears glasses and is nerdy, no, she's not a lesbian. That's stupid. He's smiling because again, he at least he's still alive. Just because they didn't give Phoebe a boyfriend, I'm like, yeah, again, Elsa doesn't have a boyfriend either. But people are just stupid. They read into things that don't even matter. Here comes Emily. At least there's no foreigners in this movie. Well, except for that bootleg Egon that comes later in the film that does nothing. A ghost vomits on him or something, and then he disappears until the end of the film. Useless. I was like, why does a Ghostbusters movie need a British guy? Because Egon's not there, we know he's not there. But he have his grandchildren. That's good enough for me. They were in the last movie. I still like this movie. It's not a classic like the first two, but that's a cool effect. Because I looked at her face, I'm like, she looked familiar when I saw this in the theater last year. She was the little girl in that movie based on a book. No, I've seen scarier human beings that I will never trust again. Oh yeah, the Dear Dumb Diary. That's the movie she did with her. She's a little girl. Now she's a woman. If you've seen Casper, that's basically like what they do with this character. She has some unfinished business or whatever. At least this is something different. They're both women. They're not little girls anymore. This isn't 10 years ago when they were kids. No, they're women now. That means I have a chance. More than that, if they were, like, yeah. No, it doesn't mean I like you, like I'm attracted to you. There's none of that here. How dare you? Just because it's PG-13? In Eternals, there was something gay in it. There was a gay couple in it. Two men. Why? Because Marvel wanted to be progressive, even though that's not progressive. That's working backwards, if you ask me. hmm Josh is like, I don't want to do a video. I don't want to post a profile pic that people are gonna hate. What are they gonna hate? Unless you're giving them the finger, then they'll hate it. But that's not me. You don't even join my podcast. I'm doing it early because I have to go somewhere later. So New York City. This guy's useless in the movie. Why is he in this movie? Because he looks like Egon, even though he's not Egon. 28 minutes in so far. Yeah, he should not have been in this movie. Him and Patton Oswalt could have been cut entirely, and the movie would be an hour and 40 minutes, which is already long enough. There's Ernie Hudson. I'm like, dude, this is not Shaun of the Dead. I don't know who this guy is, but he's not funny, so he should have been cut from the movie. This should blast over Manhattan. hmm And Ernie Hudson, for being almost 80 years old, he still looks great for his age. His face isn't falling off. Like Bill Murray looks like he's 90. Seriously, he's the oldest looking one in this movie. That's why he's barely in it. He's like, I don't want to do any more Ghostbusters movie because I'm too old and I'm above this. He was above the second one. When he did the second one for money, not for the passion. That's why he didn't show up to Comic Con. Ernie Hudson already embraced it. He's a Ghostbuster. That's what it is. Yes, and in the first movie he doesn't appear until 30 minutes in. I get it, guys. I get it. This is pretty cool. It's like it's like Jurassic Park. Remember when they have the eggs and things like that? There's the black girl. 30 minutes in, she looks like Tessa Thompson. She was also in Madam Web, but again, we don't talk about that. Hopefully, her and Isabella at least found work outside of this, because Isabella did Superman, and that was great. That was fantastic. That was a movie that it didn't just nostalgia bait me. It gave me exactly what I want. I haven't seen Airhead, Salvatore. It's an Adam Sandler movie. Ah, mind your own, you stupid Brit. I'll talk like this for the whole movie. Yeah, we don't care about that in Ghostbusters. That has nothing to do with it. There's no Edgar Wright movie that was with Ghost, because you had zombies and Shaun of the Dead. Hot Fuzz was cops, and then the third one was the at World's End, which is aliens. A CD player. Robin Wright, yeah, Robin Wright. No, she's beautiful. I thought you meant Edgar Wright. Yeah, she's lovely. I saw Princess Diaries. I mean, was it Princess Diaries or yeah, Princess Bride, not Princess Diaries. That was Anne Hathaway. Um, I saw Forrest Gump last year for the first time. 30 years later, it's just way too long. The movie is over 2 hours. People always want to complain about everything. Like Deadpool and Wolverine has no plot. You were really going to see that movie for a plot. It's getting Deadpool and Wolverine together to fight a greater evil. That's all you needed. I didn't need some grandiose plot Oppenheimer, not for a freaking Godzilla, Deadpool and Wolverine. A giant ball, 3 hours, whatever reason. Yeah, I heard that was a three. I don't. What was 3 hours? Oppenheimer. Yeah, I didn't see it because I'm like, it's just too long. It could have been an hour and 45 minutes. Christopher Nolan thinks that every movie he does needs to be over 3 hours. And I'm like, the Odyssey better not be 4 hours, or I'm not seeing it. Because I'm not really looking for a deep plot in anything anymore. Like Zootopia 2. Once they get deep, they start to get pretentious. And I hated that. That's what I hated about Mission Impossible The Final Reckoning. There was too much plot and too much explaining, not enough action. There's a little creature, yeah. It's like a pear. It's like the electric gremlin from Gremlins 2, the new batch. Because I'm like, what were people expecting with this movie? You know, the fourth movie that we never got. At least they're not prequels that ruined the mythos of Ghostbusters like they did with Alien. Because they did Covenant and Prometheus, and they were both bad. Prometheus did look good, but the new characters did nothing for me. They were just there to die or be saved. And Shaw, the character from that survives, dies in the next movie, so there's no investment. Hmm. You're not her dad. You're more like a stepfather or guardian. Because a lot of movies that they do legacy sequels are going to mention the first movie, they're going to, or the second movie. Because Top Gun Maverick, even that had some nostalgia in it. Val Kilmer was there. They showed Goose, this, the original Goose. Podcast, you don't do anything in this movie. At least in the other movie he did. This one, he's barely in it. Because I know when I hate a movie, Madam Web, I'll never watch it again. Final Reckoning, I'll never watch it again. If I hear the commentary, I'm not going to even look at the screen because it's so boring. It really is. They took a franchise that was action packed and they sucked all the life out of it. You have to accept movies for what they are, not what you think it's gonna be. Guys, I accepted the new Superman because David Cornsweet gave me something that Cavill never did: hope. I didn't have any hope when Cavill was Superman and Man of Steel. I was just bored out of my gourd, and that's why he didn't work out. Cornsweet's gonna be Superman for a long, long time. Yes, and that movie was successful without having to be nostalgia bait. I don't like that red lighting. That's something I don't like in any movie. That red virtual boy lighting. They will, because they always escape. Look at the first movie. It's not the 80s anymore. We have to move on. People got to realize the 80s and the 90s have been over for a long time. We got to move on. Next year, I'm moving on. I'm not going to try to please everybody because I can't, guys. That's just impossible. Yeah, you get what you deserve. You're not Egon. You get what you deserve. Everybody gets what they deserve. Yeah, but she's not threatening. Emily actually is part of the plot. See, she's a character that's part. She's a ghost. So Ghostbusters, it makes sense that she's a ghost instead of human. Nope, she missed. Because Podcast is such a cool character in the first in Afterlife, but here he's just in like two scenes in the movie. He doesn't even do anything at the end. It's mostly the original cast, Phoebe and Finn Wolfhard and Carrie Coon at the end. Like I said, too many characters, and this movie's under 2 hours. That's why you need to do less. Less is more. Why would you want to do a movie that has like 45 characters in an hour and 55 minutes? It's not enough screen time for all of them. That's why Bill Murray is barely in the film. Mm-hmm. See, she floats. People got to realize franchises are not going to be the same now. You have to just move on. If you don't like it, you don't have to watch it. I mean, I didn't watch Craven the Hunter because after Madam Web, I'm like, yeah, I'm done with these Sony knockoff movies because they're not good. If they were good, I would give it a chance, but they're not. None of them were good. At least the Spider-Man movies with Tom Holland were good. You know, they weren't poorly made, manufactured garbage like what Sony was doing. So two people of the same gender can't be friends. Really, half of the people in my chat are guys, not girls. I barely get girls that show up here in the chat because again, this isn't book smart. I knew that that had LGBT themes in it. I'm not stupid, guys. I saw the trailer. And this creature looks, at least it's a different design. If everything is frozen, at least the movie's not a lie. It is a frozen empire. That is a cool effect. I thought she was gonna be the villain, but she's not a villain. We're about 45 minutes in. She's kind of like Silver Surfer is to Galactus. You saw Cheetos. Because again, Phil Wolfhard already played a kind of a Ghostbuster. He dressed up as one in Stranger Things season 2, so that's why they put him here. It was fate. They didn't put, at least they didn't put Gaten Matarazzo or Millie Bobby Brown would have been terrible because she ruins franchises for me because she was in Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and Godzilla versus Kong, and she has nothing to do in those films. She's just there. She exists. Poor, McKenna doesn't even wear glasses in real life. Zero. Yeah, this guy can't act at all. He's not funny. He's useless in the movie. Him and Patton Oswalt also. He good actor. Just why is he there? He's in the library and he just has to talk. This is the biggest waste of time for Patton Oswalt since Eternals. Yeah, there's two actors from Eternals in this movie that do nothing. But really, they don't because Kumail Nanjiani had nothing to do in Eternals, and Patton Oswalt was a cameo and as a troll, and the effects look bad. That movie is way worse than this, though. That movie was soulless and boring. From Kumail Nanjiani. You saw? Also, this guy did Doolittle. He was the ostrich, the voice of the ostrich in Doolittle, which I didn't see. I heard it was horrible. armor. Those are the horns that the creature puts on his head. Because even Stranger Things, I said, was from the very beginning. There's way too many characters in that show. You didn't need 45 characters a season, guys. Less characters, more development. Just saying. I know you can't get rid of Millie because she's 11, she's the chosen one, but there's at least 8 characters you could have cut out of that show that do not need to be there, like the Russians and what was it, Doc Ray Montgomery and this idiot from Fantastic Four: The First Steps. You could have cut him out. It did not make any difference with that they were there. Hmm. The original. We know, Spidey. You don't have to explain it in the chat or in my comment section. We know that people love the original, and they said nothing has been better since. I know. It's like with Superman. The original 78 film wasn't forgotten just because it was a new one this year. Hmm. This is a new vehicle that was not in the other films. Ecto C, a motorcycle. Dr. Venkman. There he is, Peter. Comes 53 minutes into the movie, almost an hour in. That's how much Bill Murray didn't care. Yeah, he's so old now. He throws a pen at him. That's funny, but again, that's the only funny thing Bill Murray does in the whole movie. At least they don't kill him off. Hey, Lex Luthor did the same thing in Superman. He threw pens at people. Why? Because he's a d bag. That's why. Yeah, he threw another pen at him. He could bend fire. He could bend fire like a firebender. Yeah, this is not the remake. The remake is the worst because they insulted the fans of the original. There's a public library from the original near Fifth Avenue in Manhattan. Super risky. Yeah, he could have been cut out of this movie because Patton Oswalt comes so late in the movie. He's not a character. He doesn't bust ghosts or anything. He's like, I have to make, translate this. Whoopee. Yeah, like Latin and Aramaic. There's too many characters in this movie. That's one flaw I had with it, even when I've seen it in the theater. I'm like, the British dude, Patton Oswald, and Camilla Gianni. That could have just been anybody, because they could have been cut out of the movie. Crypto, the awesome dog from Superman. That movie also had too many characters, but like I said, some of them get sidelined. That's why Supergirl only has a cameo at the end because uh, there's a lot of characters. You have the engineer, and you have Luther, and you have the Ultraman. Then you have Lois and Jimmy, and there's a lot of characters. It's what you do with them that's going to leave an impact, not how many there are. There's the ball. Baraka, that's the name of the villain. They always have to give exposition in these movies. That's just, they have to explain to the audience what's going on. There's a reason why Thanos wasn't explained in Infinity War. We know what he wants. Hmm. Hmm. Yep. Like Mr. Freeze, except there's no stupid ice puns in this movie. I'll take this any day over Batman and Robin because there's not stupid one-liners in this like in Batman and Robin. Fire Masters, Firebenders. because he's explaining too much instead of just say what it is and then move on. This is why Mission Impossible failed this year, and it cost more than this movie. There's that thing again that was flying in that bunker, the garbage bag. Yeah, it possesses the garbage bag. That's something different. That's funny. They're chasing a jar of hefty bag. That is kind of funny. That's something different. People just want they want the original cast doing the same thing, and I'm like, people don't want change. I know that from experience. They want everything to be the same, and that's just not gonna happen, guys. There's the library ghost shh from the original. Get her! Ah! Yeah, again. There's callbacks, but a lot of movies do that, guys. Here, I get it. In Alien Romulus didn't need that. You didn't need to remind me of the first movie or the sequels because you're not going to be better than Ridley Scott's Alien or James Cameron's Aliens. You're just trying to copy them, and they even reference Alien 3 and Resurrection for no reason. For no reason. No. If the lion wakes up. It's a cool effect. It reminded me of Night at the Museum 3, except that movie just did that for a show. Simba. There's a beam. It's a good effect for something we never seen before. There's the cops. She destroyed it. Of course, they arrest them because they're like, "Oh, they're defacing public property." Well, the creature got into that statue. What do you expect? That is different than the Statue of Liberty coming to life in the second movie. Poor Phoebe. It is hard. The first movie. I didn't see it when it first came out in 1984. I wasn't born yet. When they re-released it, I saw it in the theater in 2011, and I loved it. It's still a classic, guys. That's never gonna change. Classics will always be classics, no matter what comes out afterwards. Like Star Wars, the original trilogy will live forever. I like the prequels. The sequel trilogy doesn't matter to me. I saw it, and I never have to see it again. Yeah, this still did better than Ant-Man and Quantumania because that had a villain they defeated so easily, and then he got fired. Jonathan Majors is not gonna. A little color one, okay. Hmm. At least that doesn't happen. If that happened in this movie, I would be really pissed. Because the Last Jedi, yeah, Luke used the Force so much he just dies. Why? Because Ryan Johnson's an idiot. That's why. Ryan Johnson, you're not James Gunn. Sorry. He knows how to write emotional stuff. That's why Superman made me cry 4 times. I never felt anything. And Last Jedi was just pissed the whole time. It was so boring. And he didn't even follow through with the last movie. He's like, oh, these characters that you love? Yeah, we're going to just ruin them in the second and third movies. Yeah, the movie would be over if they left. 69 minutes in. We still got another 40 minutes left. Paul Rudd wasn't even an actor when the first one came out in 1984. He was a kid when that came out, right? Because he was like 10 or something. Because this is 1984 and he's in his 50s now, so he was a kid when the original came out. I wasn't even born yet. I was developing, and no, they put the song at the end. They have to because it's a trademark of all these movies. Even the stupid remake had that song. Because Jason Reitman did the last movie. This is the director that did Monster House, so he knows about evil spirits and things like that. Firebender. They couldn't say Fire Lord. That would get sued by Paramount for copyright infringement. That's why they said Fire Master, not Firebender, because again, Avatar holds that. For Avatar: The Last Airbender, not James Cameron. I accept things for what they are now. They're not going to be the same. Everything that you grew up with is going to change, guys. Every franchise has done that. Star Wars, Superman, Star Trek, Doctor Who. They've always there's made changes that people liked, and then there's changes that they didn't like. I get it. I get it. Okay, I wasn't pioneering for Chris Pratt to voice Mario, but he is, so I gotta just accept it now. That's it. He'll never be Charles Martinet, but he did okay. I gotta get my Ghostbusters DVD signed next year, the first one, because the second one I got it signed last year by Kurt Fuller. That was nice of him, because Bill Murray's never gonna sign it. He's gonna be like, I'm obligated to do that because he thinks because he's like 70 something that he, like, life owes him a favor. I'm like, dude, you got popular because of your fans. Because we know he can act. If you've seen Lost in Translation, he's great in that. But he lost that Oscar to Sean Penn. Is like, damn it, now I can never be taken seriously as an actor again. There's Emily's ghost again. Melody behind the door, like another Sony movie, Into the Spider Verse. Remember with Miles and his dad? And people call those movies a masterpiece. They're not masterpieces, guys. They're good movies made by animators that connected with people for some reason because it's a black Tino Spider Man that I dressed up as and I got over. Not because I look like Miles, because I don't, but I've had his essence on me, and I will today later on. It's like, they're gonna kiss. No, they wouldn't do this. They wouldn't put gay stuff in a Ghostbusters movie. They tried that in the remake and with Kate McKinnon, and it didn't work. It did not work. That's why in Barbie she was in barely in the movie. The trains. Yeah, my dog just turned 11 years old yesterday. So this machine turns her into a ghost. Kind of like in Doctor Strange, the when his astral projection falls out of him in the first movie, or when he knocks Spider Man's astral projection out of him in Far From Home or No Way Home. I wasn't as bored with this as I was with Mission Impossible. That had too many characters and it bogged the movie down. Every 5 minutes there's a new character on screen. I'm like, why? That's not what Mission Impossible was about. There she is as a ghost. Mm. because it's a good effect. There's the ball. There's a lot of franchises I didn't go back to, especially when they rebooted them. Like Elm Street, when they did a remake, I didn't see it. I was like, nope, not wasting my time. The original's a classic, and doing the remake just felt unnecessary. There's Garaka. At least this villain has more screen time than the villain in Mission Impossible, the last two. It's a cool design for the ghost too. Nope, doesn't work. It looks like one of the ghosts that would be in the video game that came out in 2009. It's got Vecna's fingers too. Mm-hmm. The proton pack is useless against this thing. Here we go. We're getting to the third act of the movie. It's fine, guys. It's not horrible. People are just saying this is one of the worst movies of last year. I don't get it. It's because it wasn't the first two films, which are impossible at this point. Fire Master smoking vape. Weird, right? It's a good effect. Like I said, this is what would happen if Elsa turned evil, which she won't, because while the original Snow Queen was a villain, they didn't want to make Elsa a bad guy, because she got over with fans for being, you know, graceful and beautiful and likable. Hold on. Yeah, he has Vecna's fingers. Okay, I can sit down now because the movie's almost over. It's like halfway done. Gotta get my horns back on for the third act. I'm not expecting the world out of everything anymore. I just want to be entertained. That's all. Get some water. Yep, that's his full form. It's a cool looking creature. I know a lot of people were like he's forgettable, but he's not as good as Vigo or Gozer, but it's something different. It's not a copy of the first two films. Coney Island. Yay. My finger fell asleep. Wake up, fingers. Wake up. Coney Island always gets full in the summertime. This movie didn't come out in the summer. I think it was April, so it was springtime about a year ago, before my niece was born. It's a storm cloud. Come on, wake up, fingers, wake up. Ice. Ah. You saw the Verrazano Bridge. Yep, it's a hailstorm. The spectacle is not the problem in this movie. Like I said, drink some water. Paul Ruddy commits. I give him that. And he's not being goofy like Ant-Man. Not as much. You mean like Winona Ryder? It's like the Sonic movies. They did the best they could with what they did. We could have had an ugly Sonic and ruined the entire franchise, but they didn't do that. Good morning, John. Actually, this movie came out in March. March, April, what's the difference? It wasn't in the summer like the first two films. And Afterlife came out in November. I know that one for sure. I didn't see it in the theater because I couldn't afford it. So I saw it at home and I loved it. I was like, this is what I waited years to see. It wasn't perfect. The third act is a little samey, but the nice send off for Egon was very, very heartfelt and made me cry. This one doesn't have that because, again, they only showed Egon in the beginning and that was it. A nice tribute for him. That's it. They kept it short. They instead just do a nice tribute to Ivan Reitman, the guy who directed the first two movies that I love to death. Because I want to see the second one in the theater, but they never release it. The second one came out when I was 4. And this British guy does nothing in this movie. The green pear looking things vomits him and he doesn't do anything. He should have just died. You're not Egon, dude. You'll never be Egon. I like that the Ghostbusters are actually in this movie. They're not just cameos at the end. At least Phoebe has an arc in this movie that's interesting. Yep, even Janine becomes a Ghostbuster, which she did in the cartoon. Because you can't be the original. There's no way you could ever compete with the original. Even Top Gun Maverick, it's actually better than the original only because they committed. Yep, Winston's back in his costume at the end of the movie, but the only one they're missing is uh Peter, but he comes at the very end, like right before the movie ends. It's like, hey, I'm still in the movie for like the last scene. You can't be the original. There's no movie today can be the original film or the second movie. That's him. It's like it's just me. Yeah. Then why do you feel like home, Bill? Booze. Of course, Bill Murray. He wanted to drink because again, he was there for the booze. That's why Bill Murray did this movie. To get booze and just to get paid for a cameo. But at least he's there. March or April, what's the difference? It was in the spring. That and Godzilla and Kong. Godzilla and Kong, the what was it called? The New Empire? Yeah, Empires. I will say that movie's better than this because Godzilla and Kong are in the movie. But that's only because that also had too many characters. It is like the Electric Gremlin. Oh, it's possessing the Ecto One. It's like Christine. You ever seen Christine? Paper Airplane. Because Patton Oswalt doesn't appear in the rest of the movie, so why was he in the movie? To explain things to us, who Garaka is, etc. Yeah, British dude gets it real good. I'm glad he did, because I'm like, you're not a Ghostbuster. You're a substitute Egon, which we don't want. We didn't want a substitute Egon. We didn't. Especially from England, because I'm sick of people from over there. I was sick of them 10 years ago when Force Awakens came out. You know that, guys. You saw my review. You get yours, Bento. You're not a Ghostbuster. The bear vomits all over you. Yeah, please do me a favor. End this man. You're an idiot. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You did me a favor, pear ghost. Or potato, whatever you want to call it. It's 9 o'clock already. Trevor is his name. I forgot Finn Wolfhard's name. He can bend proton packs. Even though protons are not fire, but oh well, sure, that's why not. It's in the pizza box. No, not a possessed pizza. Slimer eats him. Yep. Slimer eats him. Because remember, he was eating in the second movie and in the first movie. Yeah, we all know who he is. The green Slimer ghost. Ice. There is ice in the movie, so they didn't lie. People just again they wanted something more. I'm like, it's like an episode of the cartoon, guys, but with a bigger budget and a different cast. But I could defend this movie any day over Madam Web or Mission Impossible Final Reckoning because that bored me to death. I was so bored with that I couldn't wait for it to be over. And it was over 2 hours. This is not, thankfully. It would have been if they hadn't added even more characters. You kind of feel bad for Emily and Linda. Since this is a Ghostbusters movie, I'll really say that I like the 2016 movie. This movie doesn't preach about feminism. No, it doesn't. Because Phoebe, while she's a girl, she doesn't have to stop the movie to say, I'm a girl. I could do whatever I want. They don't do that. Gil Keenan knew not to do that because they don't want to isolate the audience. That's what the remake did. That's why I hate it so much. I'll take this in Afterlife any day over the remake because it could have been worse. Like, that is a cool design. I'll give it that. Vecna fingers and horns. It does look like a ghost from the video game. There's a ghost with horns, I think, and because Fantastic Four did something wrong this year. A CGI baby and Invisible Woman is the main character. Yeah, screw you. Yep, it froze him. He dressed up in that knight's outfit. Why is he in the movie? I don't know because they needed somebody of color. A Batman voice. Narnia. That was funny. I give him credit. At least, even though Commandant Gianni's character is completely unnecessary, he does have something funny. Yeah, Zuko was Asian, not Pakistan. Yep, the lighter doesn't work. Mm-mm. What? Why didn't you do? Why didn't you just use a flame? Why didn't you just use a flamethrower, like in Ballerina? Again, a lighter. Yeah. Am I entertained? Yeah, I am. This could have been so much worse, guys. This could have been the Last Jedi, and it's not. That is Ishtaka. She has that match, the one last match in the matchbox. Yeah, I like the silence. The beam in the sky. This is it. This is the sign. See, I didn't need to hear that line. Rick Moranis was smart not to come back because you don't need to. He already did his job in the first two films. Or Sigourney Weaver, because she's doing 4 more Avatar sequels until she's 90. The Statue of Liberty. See, I told you the British dude was useless in this movie. He does nothing in the movie. He sees the pear thing as like, I thought you were one of the big ones, and yeah, and then he gets vomited on, and you don't see him again. Useless character, the most useless in the entire film. At least Melody has she has a story in this movie. It reflects on her trying to see her family again. They're frozen. Yep, brass powered proton pack. My one weakness. She's the main character of the movie. They mostly focus on her. It's a pretty good visual. Because I'm not a critic. I'm not looking for something to be perfect. No, I just want to be entertained. And if you can do that, I will give you my money. I did that for Superman. When it came out on Blu-ray, I bought it. I did that with Mario. I did that with Deadpool and Wolverine. I did that with the Jumanji sequels. They're not perfect, but they at least entertain me. Yep, fire. Ice type Pokemon always die from fire. Even though there's not a Pokemon, it's a ghost. Flame on again, yeah. Suck it, Fantastic Four. You know the first steps. You don't have you didn't even make money. Hadouken. At least they didn't kill off these characters. I would have been upset if they did that. Let's catch this thing. It's like the ending of Guardians of the Galaxy, the first one. Remember when they're all touching each other on the shoulder so that they could, or on the hand, so that they could stop Ronan? This is the only thing Podcast does in the entire movie because he really does nothing. Because in the beginning of the movie, he's not even in the film in the beginning. And they did acknowledge the second movie. They showed the Statue of Liberty in the second movie. I love seeing these characters together again. I know it's nostalgia, but yep. Again, hand in hand, all four of them. At least they do something at the end. They contribute, unlike Luke at the Last Jedi. He contributed so much he died. Yeah, that's for you, Kathleen Kennedy and Ryan Johnson. Golden years. They catch this thing. Bye, Garaka. It's a fun movie. It's not perfect. I never expected that. It's like Sonic 3. Some people were disappointed. I'm like, I loved Shadow in the movie. I did. And it's not like Jim Carrey's barely in the movie. He's in it a lot as two characters. So that I gotta accept things for what they are, guys. With Amy Rose, all I want, yes, sir. All I want for Amy Rose is a cute voice that doesn't have a British accent, and I'll be fine. How long is it? In an hour and 42 minutes. Yeah, it's not that long. See you on the other side, Melody. And it's funny because Emily is still alive and well, and her sister Natalie as well. They were just friends. There's no lesbian thing here. I would have felt it. Trust me, I know when it's that and when it's not. Plus, ghosts can't procreate. There's spirits. They don't have, you know, genitalia. Just saying. That's the truth. They're just spirits. That's it. I still enjoy this movie. It's not perfect, but like I said, I didn't want it to be perfect. Afterlife was better. I will say that because it left me more emotional and vulnerable. Well, at least I survived. They didn't kill me off. They fixed the lion, and it ends like the first movie and the second movie. Ghostbusters, Ghostbusters, Ghost. hmm They saved the day. Saving the day. At least they didn't have the soundtrack from the first two movies. Yes, sir. Forever, man. Forever and forever. They'll always be the Ghostbusters. No one will ever stop that. I enjoy this movie, yeah. This franchise will live forever, people, in the hearts of fans. Yep, you didn't do anything bootlegging. Yep, there's the dragon. Dad. And I like the new characters. I know a lot of people didn't like these characters, but they weren't like for what this could have been way worse. You have to pass the torch eventually. You can't keep the torch forever. I love the tribute to Ivan Reitman. He would have been proud. Rest in peace, Ivan. Rest in peace, Ivan Reitman. Thank you, man. Thank you for this franchise. And that was Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, guys. I enjoyed. I know it's not perfect, but it's not the remake. Anything is going to be better than that. Written by Jason Reitman, his son, and Gil Keenan. And the original Ghostbusters, written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis. Rest in peace, man. I still enjoy this movie. There's a scene at the end, right? I ain't afraid no go. Yes, there is. Yes, right here. And I ain't afraid no go. This is fun, guys. Thanks for watching. Acknowledge me. Tomorrow I'll be doing another podcast, another Scooby film. Yeah, it's not perfect, like I said, but if you want to be entertained for an hour and 40 some minutes, it hits the right notes. Paul Rudd, he did fine. Carrie Coon, Finn Wolfhard, and the MVP of the movie, McKenna Grace. It's a lot of great things coming for her and for Kiernan Shipka. I mean, I was entertained by the Red One, guys. What won't entertain me? Something boring. When a movie is boring, then I hate it. Special appearances by Bill Murray, yeah, of course, because he's not a major character in it. And Dan Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson. I ain't afraid of no ghosts. Annie Potts, yeah. William Anderson. Ghost. Music by Dario Marinelli, an Italian dude. Yeah, not the Fembusters, the real Ghostbusters, not some cheap imitation. And here comes the post-credit stinger for Sony. The those baby Marshmallow Man are driving a truck. It's kind of like Maximum Overdrive. This movie's fun. It's not perfect, but like I said, I don't want perfection. No movie has been perfect since Endgame's finale. That was something that could never be duplicated. No other movie has done that for me. Had this epic battle for 15 minutes, and it was every single shot I would never change. I'll do Endgame eventually if they have put it on streaming besides Disney Plus. Yeah, this is very Maximum Overdrive. Stay Puft Marshmallow. Bye, little minion, mini Marshmallow Man. No, not the coffee cup. Yeah, that was fun. That was the post credit stinger. I'd enjoy this movie. I know it's not perfect. Like guys, the Mario movie would have been if Donkey Kong was not voiced by Seth Rogen, because I'm just like he didn't fit. These new actors fit in this new world because it's a whole Ghostbusters world. Last call to watch. I know. I enjoy it for what it is. It's not perfect, like I said, but thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with Scooby Doo Stage Fright. Later.